honorable members of Parliament, I wish to first extend my condolences to the Honorable Member Cathy Hughes and her husband Nigel on the tragic death of his mother. May her soul rest in peace. Mr. Speaker, I am proud to be a freshman member of this Honorable House and the 11th Parliament. I pledge to work hard in the best interests of all Guyanese and to represent the interests of the people in Region 5 where I reside. During an election, politicians go to the electorate and promise to do good deeds for the country and their communities. Programs that will make their lives and those of their families much better than they are now. But while those with a different political ideology or affiliation are likely to reject everything we say, most, those who desperately need some relief to pay the bills and to provide a better standard of living for their children and loved ones, believe us. They believe because we're all supposed to be honorable men and women of unquestionable character. They believe because most of them are low-income families struggling to make ends meet and single-parent mothers trying desperately to raise their children without help from the sperm donor who left them with child. But is this what politicians do after they're elected to serve in this honorable house? Do government really work to improve the well-being of all Guyanese, regardless of race, ethnicity, or political affiliation? Or do they, as is evident now, waste valuable time and resources seeking retribution against the previous administration as payback for all the years they've spent in the opposition? Mr. Speaker, each of us have equal rights here because by some divine faith and intervention, we find ourselves living in the same 83,000 square miles we call home. None of us is responsible for the color of our skin or the family we're born into. That is God's will. But as Guyanese, we're all part of a bigger family with common goals and aspirations. We have to learn to coexist, bury the hate, and learn to accept and respect each other as members of the same family, citizens of Guyana. Our politicians have a moral responsibility to put an end to race baiting so that together we can find solutions to real problems to reclaim Guyana's leadership role in the region. Mr. Speaker, much has been said about the good life in the 2015 budget. But while the APNU stronghold of Linden is being rewarded with billions in electricity subsidies and another $155 million to reactivate the Linden Enterprise Network, there is nothing of substance for the people of Region 5. The $300 reduction in the toll to cross the Berbice Bridge is nothing more than symbolic for this government to boast of having fulfilled a campaign promise. And although I suspect this reduction will be another burden placed on the shoulders of our taxpayers, there seems to be no provision in the budget for the allocation of this subsidy to the Berbice Bridge Company. Are the people of Region 5 not deserving of a good life too? Civil servants were promised 20% increase in salaries. But when that is reduced to a mere 5%, and this increase is not retroactive from January 1st, as was done normally under the PPPC administration, how can civil servants enjoy the good life that is touted in this budget? When the APNU AFC promised the people of Guyana to lower the value-added tax, how could they have a good life when VAT remains at what the APNU AFC once considered a burdensome 16%? Mr. Speaker, much have also been said by my colleagues on the government side about the glorious increase they will now be giving to our elderly. They have raised old age pension from $13,125 to $17,000. Big deal when the APNU AFC had promised to double this benefit immediately upon assumption of office. The PPPC administration ensured at best an equitable distribution of benefits to all Guyanese to help improve the quality of their lives. Our elderly receive subsidies in water and electricity from the PPPC administration, benefits that are now eliminated from the Granger administration budget. So how do the elderly enjoy the good life when the measly $3,875 increase proposed in this budget for pensioners will have to be used to pay the electricity and water bills? Stop fooling our elderly. Mr. Speaker, when this government takes away $10,000 from every school child in the public education system and replaces that with $500 increase in school uniform vouchers, how does denying every child $9,500 allow their parents to give those children a good life? Isn't this not removing an investment in our children's education? When 2,000 of our indigenous brothers and sisters are fired indiscriminately and cannot now afford to provide basic food items, shelter, clothing, and food for their families, how can the government claim in this budget to provide a good life for all Guyanese? Taking away an income from 3% of the Amerindian population creates desperate times for every member of those families. It is not just wrong and inhuman. This is downright criminal. Mr. Speaker, this budget can best be described as plenty rhetoric and little substance. Whoever came up with the name Good Life as a budget theme should have renamed it The Good Lie instead. Mr. Speaker, throughout his budget presentation, we've heard the learned Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, refer to accounting systems that were corrupt and the mismanagement of funds by the previous People's Progressive Party civic administration. We were told that the PPPC government mismanaged the Petro-Carib Fund and stole billions of dollars and government assets from taxpayers. But Mr. Speaker, I must remind my colleagues on both sides of this Honorable House that just a few years ago, the Honorable Winston Jordan served as Budget Director and later as advisor to the Finance Minister in a previous PPPC administration. Because of the positions he held, he would have been privy to any unscrupulous raping of the Treasury he's now alluding to, if in fact that really existed. And he knew then, if he knew then that the accounting system was corrupt and the Petro-Carib mismanaged, why did he choose to be part of a corrupt administration or associated with it for so long while keeping his mouth shut all this time? I believe this allegation of PPPC corruption, as presented in the 2015 budget, presents a credibility problem for the Honorable Minister of Finance. A reason had to be given for the inability of government to reduce the VAT and to honor their commitment to raise public servants' salaries by 20%. So instead of admitting to being unrealistically overgenerous with their promises on the campaign trail, they blame it all on the evil People's Progressive Party. What's new? Our opposition leader said it best. If the treasury was empty, how then a budget larger than any other budget in our history with a lower deficit could have been presented to this honorable House? Credibility issues will also have to be debated. Mr. Speaker, I am given the responsibility to serve in 3 sectors that I have tremendous interest in: tourism, labor, and public security. I intend to work tirelessly with my other members of those committees to ensure checks and balances through transparency and accountability. Guyana is unique compared to other parts of the Caribbean and has tremendous potential for tourism. But as a tourist destination, we cannot compete for the same market as Trinidad, Barbados, and the rest of the region, for we do not have white sandy beaches and blue waters. But Guyana has a product that is in demand and marketable: the beauty of nature. There is a huge market for ecotourism, the kind that Guyana offers and needs to focus on. We in the People's Progressive Party are proud that our accomplishments in this sector, building the Guyana brand, as evident by the leading organizations in the world promoting our destination, and the significant initiative of the Chedijagan International Airport expansion, which is a cornerstone of promoting this sector. We are pleased, Mr. Speaker, that this government has finally acknowledged that this must continue.
Honourable Member, you have 7 minutes more.
So fast? More hotels have been built to international standards, and the expansion of the Ogle Airport as an international hub is yet another major accomplishment of the PPPC in building the Guyana brand. This helps to accelerate our entry into the wider tourism market, as most of our visitors now are Guyanese returning home on vacation from the diaspora. Tourism, however, cannot be developed in a haphazard way if we expect to see long-term growth. Tourism is a delicate industry that must be carefully nurtured in its infancy. We must not harbor grand illusions that Guyana is ready for tourism. We're not there yet. Resources need to be targeted in special areas to develop the quality, hassle-free service that is the hallmark of tourism industry the world over. Mr. Speaker, we need to accelerate and intensify the training of those now employed in the hospitality business, and I'm pleased that this has already begun. Excellent customer service is practically non-existent in Guyana. Those employed in the hospitality business and utility companies need to be properly trained to provide quality professional customer service that is required of them. We also need to protect the tourist driver and our own motorists from running off dark, dismal roads at night, or from crashing into some stray animal on their way to Berbice. Our roadways need adequate street lighting and must be clearly marked with reflective paint with glass beads that glows in the dark. This investment will save lives and reduce the carnage we're now having on our roadways daily. But there is no provision in this budget for this. Mr. Speaker, This government needs to find a solution to the lawlessness seen every day on our streets and sidewalks.
You have
To
2
make
minutes
Guyana-
more, sir.
2 minutes? To make Guyana more marketable
Mr. Speaker,
for tourism.
there has been a discussion between the whips where the backbenchers were given 20 minutes. I noticed in the printed document that it keeps saying 15 minutes. However, whether there's an agreement between the whips or not, sir, understanding Order 38-9, I am moving that the honourable member, when he finished speaking, his time expires, to be given additional time to conclude. He has a speech that is 20 minutes exactly, and I'm asking your support for this. Thank you, sir.
I thank the honourable member. I know that when the speaker is addressing the assembly, he will be allowed to do so. I thank you. The speaker is guided by a listing and times provided. And for the knowledge of members, honorable members, very few members yesterday stuck to their time. Very few honorable members were asked to end their speeches at the time given. It is no exception today. The present speaker has been on the floor for 14 minutes and 54 seconds when the honorable member rose to ask for further time. The speaker does exercise a certain amount of leniency in relation to the time. But I will allow the honorable member who was speaking a further 5 minutes to complete his. Thank you.
Speaker. Mr. Speaker, tourism will not thrive in a crime-infested environment. This industry and the image of our country will be severely damaged on the world market if the crime rate is not reduced to a manageable level. I agree with the Honorable Minister of Finance that the crime situation is the most pressing and most depressing problem facing the nation today. But here again, he blames it all on the PPP administration, as they normally do. But since mid-May, gun-related crimes and murders have escalated way out of control, and this government, with all the ex-military personnel available as advisors, have no plan and seems incapable of stopping it. Based on the ad hoc way this government seems to be running things, it seems that very little or no planning at all was done by the APNU-AFC in any sector to prepare its members for assumption to office pre-election. And the hastily dismissal of key personnel in various ministries has now left this administration governed by trial and error. Mr. Speaker, the government of Guyana now has a brand new ministry headed by the Honorable Winston Felix. In his column dated August 30 in the Kaichor News, political activist and friend of this government, Freddie Kissoon, wrote, and I quote, "Trust me, I am on the ground where I hear the vibes from all types of citizens. Guyanese found the Ministry of Citizenship absolutely amusing. They still do. I see the large cabinet as a mistake. I see the Ministry of Citizenship as a mistake. I see the Trotman double portfolio as a mistake." End of quote. Mr. Speaker, for once I agree with Freddie Kissoon. The Ministry of Citizenship is not just a mistake. It is an additional burden on our taxpayers to provide lucrative jobs to high positions for those loyal APNU AFC supporters. Immigration is a police function. Why this dichotomy? With all the security experts they have, the Granger administration should have had a strategic plan well prepared to hit the ground running on the first day of office. Instead, the creation and distribution of ministries and the witch hunting of PPPC officials took precedent and gave the criminals the freedom to wreak havoc in our homes and places of business and open all wounds of atrocities committed by the Feynman and his gang of ruthless killers some 7 years ago. I will wrap up now, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Guyana Police Force needs a complete overhaul of its operations and infrastructures to be an effective, proactive crime-fighting unit. Our police officers need to be respected by citizens and their civilian authority. Most police officers work in deplorable conditions and desperately need new office facilities and furniture. They need new technology and more vehicles to fight crime. The previous PPPC administration spent hundreds of billions of dollars to train and equip the Guyana Police Force with the latest technology, boats, and vehicles. But as crime escalates to deadly levels, our security forces need further training and more sophisticated weaponry to outgun and outfox the criminals. And they must have the training and ability to dispatch a rapid response team at a moment's notice. But they also need that 20% salary increase that was promised to them. And I'm afraid there will not be enough in the $11.9 billion budget allocation for this to happen. As I conclude my presentation, Mr. Speaker, these debates will demonstrate, one, our accomplishments in the building of our nation from an empty treasury to one where a new government can propose a budget of this magnitude. Two, the building blocks of a nation poised to move to version 2.0 as we outlined in our 2015 campaign, and one which we plan to continue to advocate for the benefit of our nation. Three, a better life is not about political rhetoric, but about an integrated approach to managing the business of our nation. And four, that the discriminatory approach, as is obvious in the current version of 2015 budget, will not be accepted. These debates will be about our continued success as a nation, and indeed a better life for all of our people. I fully intend to be a voice to be heard, and that our vision for this nation, as outlined in version 2.0 of our manifesto, is given priority for the benefit of all Guyanese. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the honourable member. Our next speaker is the Honourable Nicolette Henry.